Hello there, this is Jason Renshaw from EnglishITutor.com, and the subject of this video tutorial is TOEFL speaking, and in particular question 4 on the test. This appears to be one of the harder questions for most learners. A lot of my learners tell me it's a kind of nightmare for them. So I'm going to go through some essential strategies for you to hopefully make this task a little bit more manageable. Now, I'm going to go through a few things that are important to remember. You can come back and review these later if you want to. In this task, it's very important to take effective notes, not lots of notes, effective notes. It's important to review, organize, and connect those notes. It's important to summarize the topic and the relationship between the two sources, as in between the reading passage and the lecture. It's important to explain each main point or example from the lecture and then connect it to key principles or theories in the reading. It's important to use your 30 seconds preparation time effectively to select and connect the most relevant information. It's important to select and summarize key information rather than just reading every note you took down. And most importantly, it's very important to stay calm and not rush or get flustered. Now these points that I've just said here, a lot of people use their 30 seconds preparation time to write more notes, and then they find the whole task just, too hard to manage. And also point 7 there, a lot of people get flustered and they try to cover too much information, they speak too fast, and it destroys their pronunciation. So please keep those things in mind. Now, a basic structure for your response could look like this. It's very similar to the integrated writing task. We'll have an introduction that just states what the main idea of the reading passage was, and the lectures, stand in relation to that reading. Then we may have a sort of body where we'll explain each main idea from the lecture and try to connect it to some sort of point made in the reading passage. So I'm going to give you an example now. These are notes that I've taken down for one of my own TOEFL speaking tasks in TOEFL Speaking Mentor. This is question 4 from test 3. And you'll notice I've got a space for reading and a space for listening on the one page. And based on that, I've got some notes here from my reading passage. Not a lot of notes there. It's hard to take a lot of notes in 45 seconds. Some key terms are written out as full words, but most of it is abbreviated words and just quick jotted notes to jog my memory. Same for the listening. Just as I went through the lecture, as I was listening to it, I just made sure that I understood it, and I tried to keep my information organized in the same sequence as I heard it when it was spoken. Notice this word viscous here. It's not actually spelt like that, but you don't want to get stuck on spelling when you're taking notes. Sometimes it's a good idea just to write the word as it sounded if you're not sure about that word. Now, based on these notes, we've actually got the framework for an effective answer. The reading passage introduced the idea of constructivism, which it defines as being about new knowledge and understanding new meanings through experience. And the professor gives an example of this by showing how children progress from using a spoon to a fork. The lecturer starts by saying how children start using a spoon because the food's very viscous and they can scoop it into their mouth. But eventually they need to go on to more solid food, which is, more chunky and firm, and they'll need to use a fork for that food, but they tend to use the fork the same way they were using the spoon. And this supports the key idea in the reading passage that assimilation is, using new experiences and incorporating them into an existing framework. Professor goes on to say how this results in a lot of accidents with the food. They spill the food, it's hard to balance it. So through experimentation and the help of an adult, they'll learn to use the fork prongs to spear the food. And this supports the idea of accommodation in the reading passage, that through failures and new experiences and experimentation, individuals reframe their knowledge base. So the lecturer mainly talked about some sort of real experiences that individuals, undertake. And this supports that key theory in the reading passage that, experiences help us develop our knowledge and understanding of meanings. So as you can see from our notes there, we can actually give a very organized and, effective response within the time limit.